Between bum deals, bad luck, and worse behavior, an actor can go from playing a part to being out of the job in a matter of days. These stars learn just how fast the tables can turn when they were forced out of a signature role. Bam Margera made a name for himself in the early 2000s as a member of the Jackass crew, a group of friends who took their high pain tolerance and propensity for the absurd and turned it into a cultural phenomenon. Margera was able to capitalize on his fame and anchored 2 spin-off series on MTV centered around his own life, Viva La Bam and Bam's Unholy Union. Following their hugely successful 3-season run on MTV, the men of Jackass developed the property into a successful film franchise. Starting with 2002's Jackass the Movie, several more box office successes followed, including Jackass No. 2 and Jackass 3D. Jackass Forever, the 4th main film in the franchise, is currently slated for a theatrical release in 2022, but you won't see Bam Margera involved in any of the stunts. Reportedly, Margera's ongoing struggles with substance use led to his removal from the project. According to Variety, Margera failed a sobriety test when he was found with Adderall in his system, a violation of a wellness agreement that Margera alleged his co-star Johnny Knoxville and the film's director Jeff Tremaine forced him to sign while in rehab. Margera responded with a wrongful termination lawsuit against the filmmakers in August 2021. As for the Jackass crew, Tremaine was granted a 3-year restraining order after Margera allegedly sent him threatening texts. Meanwhile, Knoxville told GQ that he has no interest in a, quote, public back and forth with Bam. Knoxville went on to add, "We want Bam to be happy and healthy and get the help he needs." Johnny Depp and ex-wife Amber Heard have endured one of the most public and ugly divorces in recent years, with both sides accusing the other of physical, verbal, and emotional abuse. In an April 2018 article published by The Sun, Depp was referred to as a, quote, wife beater. The actor filed a libel suit against the paper. However, following a 3-week trial in 2020, Justice Andrew Niccol ruled in favor of The Sun and their characterization of the actor, ruling that Depp had been abusive 12 times toward Heard during the 2-year marriage. At the time of the ruling being made public, Depp had shot only a single scene from the 3rd installment of the Fantastic Beasts franchise, according to The Hollywood Reporter. The controversial actor had already played evil wizard Grindelwald in 2016's Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and 2018's Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, but Depp's contract meant that Warner Brothers still had to pay the actor his full salary, even though he was asked to resign from the franchise's 3rd movie, as he announced on Instagram that November. It's worth noting that his 8-figure payday, per The Hollywood Reporter, was higher than co-stars Eddie Redmayne and Jude Law, whose characters shared equal screen time with Depp's. Warner Brothers later confirmed that Mads Mikkelsen would replace Depp as Grindelwald.
No, I don't know him. I met him once, so I wish I had his phone number, but unfortunately that's not the case.
As for Depp, the actor told The Times in August 2021 that he believed Hollywood was, quote, boycotting him following his dismissed defamation suit and removal from Fantastic Beasts. Megan Fox can count 2007's Transformers as her major feature film breakout role. The actor reprised her part as Michaela Baines in 2009's Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen. However, when it came time for director Michael Bay to shoot the 3rd flick in the franchise, he replaced Fox with model Rosie Huntington Whiteley. For anyone who read Fox's 2009 interview with Wonderland magazine, they probably weren't left wondering why Fox was recast. The actor infamously compared Bay to Hitler, further claiming he's like Napoleon and he wants to create this insane, infamous madman reputation. 2 years later, Bay commented on Fox's subsequent firing in a GQ interview, admitting that Transformers producer Steven Spielberg instructed him to, quote, fire her right now, following Fox's Hitler comment. Crew members from the Transformers set also published a letter to fans using vulgar, sexist, and violent imagery to describe Fox. However, it appears as though Fox and Bay are now on good terms. Bay told GQ that his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collaborator sent a friendly text years later, adding, "When you're days and months on a set, it's like a family. You say rude things and you make up." Fox even defended Bay and Spielberg on Instagram when a 2009 interview of the star with Jimmy Kimmel resurfaced in 2020, and social media sleuths accused the filmmakers of exploiting Fox as a teen. If you were a fan of Beverly Hills 90210 in the early 90s, you probably remember where you were when you learned that Shannon Doherty would not be reprising her role as Brenda Walsh following the 4th season. The harsh blow to fans of the show was not a decision that came about lightly behind the scenes. And in true 90210 fashion, Doherty's 1994 exit from the hugely successful series was packed with drama. As co-star Tori Spelling, whose father, Aaron Spelling, produced Beverly Hills 90210, revealed on Tori Spelling, Celebrity Lie Detector in 2015, a physical altercation between Doherty and co-star Jenny Garth contributed to Doherty being released from her contract. Tori admittedly called her dad about the alleged fistfight, and Doherty was fired soon after. Even before this, however, Doherty had earned a bad reputation on set for alleged recurring tardiness, which would often set shooting schedules back hours. Furthermore, executive producer Charles Rosen told Entertainment Weekly that the actress had a, quote, callous attitude on set. The actor dismissed the claims that she was perpetually late, instead pointing the finger at other castmates who were late more often. Doherty also reportedly cut her hair mid-season without discussing the chop with producers beforehand, which may have complicated production on the series. Kevin Spacey was a household name thanks to his work on stage and in feature films long before landing the role of Frank Underwood in Netflix political drama House of Cards. The actor earned Emmy nominations and won SAG Awards for his portrayal of the White House whip-turned-president, and in 2015 took home a Golden Globe. But Spacey was removed from the show ahead of its 6th and final season after sexual misconduct allegations were levied against him. In October 2017, Anthony Rapp claimed to BuzzFeed that Spacey made an unwanted sexual advance toward the Rent actor back in 1986 when he was 14 and Spacey was 26. The pair were alone in Spacey's apartment following a party, with both starring in different Broadway productions when the alleged event occurred. Rapp told the outlet, "The older I get, the more I can't believe it. I could never imagine that anyone else I know would do something like that to a 14-year-old boy." Spacey responded to the accusations on Twitter and apologized to Rapp for an incident he claimed to not remember. But Rapp's Me Too moment opened the floodgates for more alleged survivors of Spacey's abuse to come forward. In addition to losing his job on House of Cards, Spacey was also removed from Ridley Scott's All the Money in the World, with his scenes in the movie reshot with Christopher Plummer, who was nominated for an Academy Award for his work in the role. Starting in 2004, Nicolette Sheridan was cast in the recurring role of Edie Britt on the hugely popular ABC drama Desperate Housewives. The show turned into a cultural phenomenon, and Sheridan was bumped up to a series regular, later earning a Golden Globe nomination in 2005 for Best Supporting Actress. Fans were surprised when Sheridan's character was killed off during the 2009 season, but things became a bit more clear the following year when the actor filed a wrongful termination and assault lawsuit against ABC Television and Desperate Housewives creator Mark Cherry. Sheridan claimed that Cherry, quote, struck her on the head while on set, per The Hollywood Reporter, and that when she complained to ABC about the alleged assault, she was fired. The actor sued for $20 million in damages, but the case was reduced to wrongful termination and battery, with Sheridan only being eligible to collect her $4 million salary for one season in 2011. She attempted to refile multiple times, but was denied by the courts in 2014, and again 3 years later. Sheridan claimed during a 2008 appearance on The Talk, "I was a victim of assault and battery by my boss on the set. I reported him and was retaliated against and fired off the show, all of which is illegal. There was nobody to stand up for me. I felt like I needed to stand up for myself." CBS struck gold with creator Chuck Lorre's half-hour sitcom 2.5 Men in 2003. The series starred Charlie Sheen and John Cryer as adult brothers living together and helping to raise Cryer's son, played by Angus T. Jones. For his role as the fun-loving bachelor Charlie Harper, Sheen earned multiple Golden Globe and Emmy nominations, and in 2010 became the highest-paid actor on television by collecting $1.8 million per episode. The good times eventually came crashing down after Sheen began exhibiting erratic and concerning behavior. He was fired in 2011 after a series of shocking interviews, including him rambling about tiger blood and winning to ABC News. Sheen also made derogatory statements about Lorre, even calling his boss a, quote, stupid little man, while speaking with TMZ.
Yeah, I am on a drug. It's called Charlie Sheen.
Lori and CBS maintained that they made several efforts to help Sheen, including offering him time off to attend rehab and receive treatment for alcohol and drug dependency. People shared excerpts from a letter written by a lawyer on behalf of Warner Brothers Television, which owns CBS, to Sheen's legal team, which detailed some of the steps taken to provide Sheen with help, as well as reasons why the actor was being fired. Lawyer John Spiegel, for example, explained to Sheen's attorney that, "At the outset, let us state the obvious. Your client has been engaged in dangerously self-destructive behavior and appears to be very ill." Sheen later expressed regret to Yahoo Entertainment for his headline-making behavior during this time. Despite being part of the cast since the first episode and credited as a series regular, Taylor Momsen, who played Jenny Humphrey on the CW's Gossip Girl, was noticeably absent from most episodes by season 4. The then 17-year-old actor, who in addition to starring on Gossip Girl was also heading the rock group Pretty Reckless at the time in 2010, was beginning to gain a reputation for being difficult on set. Following a guest role on Gossip Girl, Project Runway's Tim Gunn claimed to E! That Momsen was a quote diva, adding, "She was pathetic. She couldn't remember her lines, and she didn't even have that many." Momsen was placed on an indefinite hiatus by the midway point of the 4th season, and TV Line confirmed in 2011 that the actor-turned-musician would not be back for season 5. Momsen did return, however, to the Upper East Side for the series finale of Gossip Girl in 2012. In a 2021 interview with WWD, she said that acting was just a job she did as a child. "When I got to an age where I can make my own decisions finally, and I realized that I didn't have to do this other job, and I could simply just pursue music and just do the thing that I loved, I quit everything else." Momsen also added that she would be checking out the new Gossip Girl reboot for fun. From 2012's The Avengers to 2019's Avengers Endgame, it may be difficult for audiences to remember a time when Mark Ruffalo wasn't starring in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as the Hulk. But before Ruffalo was turning green with rage, the role belonged to Edward Norton. Known for his dramatic chops in films like Primal Fear and American History X, Norton's turn as Bruce Banner was well received by critics. Following the release of 2008's The Incredible Hulk, he approached Marvel with an idea for 2 follow-up films that would be reminiscent of Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight series. He claimed to the New York Times in 2019 that the studio was initially up for his darker concept, but later changed their mind. Norton told the newspaper, "As it turned out, that wasn't what they wanted. But I had a great time doing it. I got on great with Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige." Norton was scheduled to reprise his role as Bruce Banner in The Avengers, but it appears that the actor and the studio's differing opinions on how the superhero story should be told led to Norton's exit. Marvel and Feige released a statement about Norton's firing, saying, "Our decision is definitely not one based on monetary factors, but instead rooted in the need for an actor who embodies the creativity and collaborative spirit of our other talented cast members." As for Norton, he Hulk smashed the comments, calling them, quote, "cheap," to the Times. Edward Norton is not the only Marvel member to have his tenure in the superhero world cut short. After starring in 2008's Iron Man as Colonel James Rhodes opposite Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark, Terrence Howard was fired from the franchise despite having previously nabbed a multi-movie deal. In a 2013 appearance on Bravo's Watch What Happens Live, Howard made thinly veiled references to his co-star when revealing a major money dispute with the studio. Howard claimed during the interview, "It turns out that the person that I helped become Iron Man, when it was time to re-up for the second one, took the money that was supposed to go to me and pushed me out." The actor went on to allege that, although the pair had negotiated their salaries for a 3-picture deal before the release of the first film, when it came time to shoot the second installment, Marvel told Howard that he would only be getting 1/8 of the salary he had been promised, with the rest going to Downey. Howard claimed he called Downey, but didn't hear back from him for, quote, 3 months. Howard later apologized for his comments, saying he shouldn't have publicly spoken about the failed movie deal after drinking, and announced in a 2017 appearance on Andy Cohen's talk show that he'd ended his feud with Downey because, quote, "life is too short." As for Howard's feelings toward Don Cheadle, who replaced the actor in his role as James Rhodes, aka War Machine, the pair have remained close friends. Back in the late 1970s, Three's Company was one of the highest-rated shows on television, thanks to the undeniable chemistry of Suzanne Somers, John Ritter, and Joyce DeWitt, averaging 20 million viewers per week. By the show's 5th season, Somers decided that it was time for a raise. The actor asked for her pay to be bumped from $30,000 per episode to $150,000 per episode, which was the same salary as Ritter. In response, ABC offered Somers merely a $5,000 raise. When Somers skipped 2 episodes in 1980, she was fired soon after. Somers said in a 2020 interview with People, the show's response was, "Who do you think you are?" They said, "John Ritter is the star." Somers' husband, Alan Hamill, who was also a TV producer, noted that his wife was used as a cautionary tale for women in the TV industry. Hamill explained to People, Laverne and Shirley had just negotiated a monster deal, and afterwards, they decided they needed to make an example of female actresses so that no other woman would ask to be paid what men were making. And then Suzanne was fired. Somers also noted that being fired from the number 2 rated show on television devastated her career, telling the outlet, "I probably would have never left network series. I would have kept on going and probably been in every sitcom after that were it not to end the way it ended, but I was ostracized. So I went away." What's a lethal move to your career as an actor? In the case of Clayne Crawford, allegedly appearing verbally abusive toward co-stars and creating a toxic work environment is high on the list. The actor had starred in the first 2 seasons of Fox's highly rated Lethal Weapon TV series when he was fired and replaced by actor Sean William Scott in 2018. Following Crawford's exit from the series, reports of his on-set behavior, including videos featuring expletive-filled tirades, soon began popping up online. Variety, for example, shared an audio recording of Crawford and co-star Damon Wayans arguing on set after Wayans was injured during an episode Crawford was directing. According to the outlet, things allegedly became so tense between the pair that extra security had to be on set at all times in case things between the men got physical. The same clip also included audio in which Crawford could be heard screaming at a coworker for not being able to maintain a quiet set while filming on location at a public pool, which was reportedly filled with children who could hear the actor. Variety noted that, following Crawford's rant, an assistant director walked off set, citing Crawford's unprofessional behavior as the reason. Prior to his dismissal, Crawford issued a public apology on his Instagram page and confirmed he had been, quote, reprimanded twice for his on-set behavior. It appears it was a case of too little, too late, since Crawford was fired soon after. In 2019, fans were shocked when a list of people federally charged as part of a college admissions scam nicknamed Operation Varsity Blues included beloved Hallmark movie and Fuller House star Lori Loughlin. According to the FBI's findings, Loughlin and her husband, Massimo Giannulli, paid $500,000 to William Rick Singer for his assistance in getting the couple's 2 daughters into the University of Southern California. When news broke of Loughlin's involvement in the scandal, Hallmark was first to fire the actor. Loughlin was one of the biggest names on the TV channel and starred in several Christmas movies, as well as the first 6 seasons of When Calls the Heart. The network removed Loughlin from episodes that had already been filmed from the period piece's 6th season and said they were evaluating all creative options with regards to the show's future. Fans hoping for Loughlin's return will be happy to know that showrunner Brian Bird seemed to be all for bringing back her character, Abigail Stanton, following the actor's 2-month prison sentence. Netflix was next to break ties with Loughlin. The actor had starred as Becky Katsopoulos on Full House from 1987 until the original ABC series ended in 1995, and then reprised the role in the Fuller House revival on Netflix in 2016. But following the Operation Varsity Blues scandal, Loughlin was not invited to return for the show's last season. Roseanne Barr made one of the most triumphant TV comebacks in 2018 when her beloved sitcom returned with most of the original cast after a 21-year hiatus. The revived Roseanne debuted with a bang, earning huge ratings and quickly securing a second revival season. But the good times unfortunately didn't last long. It would be just 2 months, to be exact, before Barr was fired from her eponymous show. That May, Barr shared a since-deleted tweet that compared Valerie Jarrett, a black woman and lawyer best known as former President Barack Obama's senior advisor, to an ape. The tweet resulted in swift action from ABC, whose president, Channing Dungey, said, "Roseanne's Twitter statement is abhorrent, repugnant, and inconsistent with our values." Barr apologized, but the damage was done. Thankfully for others involved in the series, the network agreed to revoke its initial cancellation and rename it as The Conners. When the show returned in the fall of 2018, Barr's character was written off by way of an opioid addiction leading to a fatal heart attack, an ending that was in line with her character's struggle with a knee injury the previous season. In May 2021, Deadline reported that The Conners had been renewed for a 4th season and would feature the return of original cast members Sarah Gilbert, John Goodman, and Laurie Metcalf. Another actor to get into trouble on social media is Gina Carano. The former mixed martial arts athlete had successfully made the transition from the octagon to the big screen in films like Fast and Furious 6 and Deadpool. But her big break came when she was cast as Cara Dune on the hugely popular Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian. After 2 seasons, Carano was fired by Disney and Lucasfilms for her social media posts, which the company said in a statement were, quote, abhorrent and unacceptable. Those posts included instances of Carano comparing the treatment of conservatives in present-day America to Jewish people in Nazi-occupied Germany during the Holocaust. Those stories shared on Carano's Instagram were only one instance of the actor posting offensive content. As reported by Gizmodo, she had previously shared posts that were against the Black Lives Matter movement, chastised COVID-19 mask mandates, and promoted conspiracies about the 2020 presidential election. Carano also tweeted about her refusal to acknowledge gender pronouns, which likely didn't sit well with her Mandalorian co-star Pedro Pascal, who publicly supported his sister Lux after she came out as transgender. Following Carano's February 2021 firing, which also included her being dropped by talent agency UTA, the actor appeared on conservative talk show host Ben Shapiro's long-form interview series. In addition to asserting that she had been, quote, bullied by Disney, Carano felt that the company had been pressured by the Fire Gina Carano hashtag on social media. The first 3 seasons of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air featured Janet Hubert in the role of Vivian Banks. But when it came time for Season 4, fans were shocked to see that Hubert had been replaced by Daphne Maxwell Reid. Hubert had earned an NAACP nomination for her role as Aunt Viv, leading viewers to wonder why the actor had not returned. Hubert publicly blamed series lead Will Smith in a 1993 interview with Jet magazine, claiming that he was, quote, probably responsible for her firing. After she was let go of the show, an ongoing feud between Hubert and Smith continued in the press for decades. However, the real reason why she was fired wouldn't come until the cast sat down for a highly anticipated reunion special on HBO Max in 2020. Hubert revealed that she was pushed out of the series over what she called a really bad deal, explaining that the producer said she was not allowed to work on any other projects, thus stifling her ability to make money. Hubert rejected the deal and earned a reputation for being difficult, which she said caused her to be disowned by Hollywood. Hubert told Smith on the HBO Max reunion show,
you know those words, calling a black woman difficult in Hollywood is the kiss of death. It's the kiss of death, and it's hard enough being a dark-skinned black woman.
Smith then apologized for the role he played in Hubert's exit, telling the actress,
the person I want to be is someone who protects you.
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Nicki Swift videos about your favorite celebs and scandals are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.